Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
This situation was basically based on ego. That's all it was. You got a spoiled, rich athlete that plays for a professional football team with a cocky, arrogant, fucked up attitude. Alright, with no further hesitation, let's get into this video of the body cam of Tyreek Hill getting pulled over this past Sunday by the Miami Police Department on the motorcycle, showing Tyreek getting pulled over. So Sunday, we all got to see, what happened with the bystanders filming the situation or what happened with the police snatching Tyreek Hill out of the car, putting him in a chokehold, putting him on the ground, and putting him in handcuffs. So now we got the body camera footage. So what I'm about to do right now is I'm about to play this video, and I'm going to give you my input on what happened. I watched the video maybe one time vaguely, but I really didn't pay attention to detail. But right now, I'm going to really pay attention to detail, and let's see what's going on this video. Let me push play, and we can get this going right now. All right, right now I'm looking at the officer getting in his motorcycle. He's following behind Mr. Hill's car. I don't know what kind of car it is, Lamborghini or whatever, but I know it's expensive and it costs a lot of money. I ain't really tripping off of that. I'm just trying to look at the incident of what's going on in the situation. All right, so his window is down. Officer pulls up on the side of him, tells him to pull over.
Go forward.
Blurbs him so he can stop.
Yeah, we got him here. 6 o'clock. Why don't you have your seatbelt on?
Don't knock on my window.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on?
Knock on my window like that, no.
Like what?
Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up?
Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here. That way you can lower it and talk to you.
Just get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm finna be late, gang. Do what you gotta do.
Keep it
All
down.
right, I'm going to pause the video right here. Now, obviously he was breaking the law. Obviously, Tyreek Hill was speeding. Okay, we get that. He got pulled over. Now, when the police officer went up to his window, he knocked on his window. Immediately, instead of Tyreek Hill de-escalating the situation, he immediately escalated the situation, telling the officer, "Don't knock on my window. Don't knock on my window." He had a very rude, cocky, disrespectful attitude towards this officer who was just trying to do his job. Then, on top of that, the officer was trying to be nice, trying to explain his situation, and Tyreek Hill is basically blowing him off like, just hurry up and give me my ticket so I can go. He's basically trying to treat this officer like he's not the law, and he's trying to treat this officer like he's beneath him, and he's treating this officer like he's a peasant. But you can't do that. It don't matter how much money you got. It don't matter how rich you are. It don't matter who you are, what your name is, and how many people you entertain, millions of people on that football field. At the end of the day, that man is still a peace officer. So let's get back into the video and let's see what else goes on.
Keep your window down. Keep your window down. Danny. Hey. Keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now.
All right. So you see the officer was telling him, roll your window down. Roll your window down. Tyreek Hill was being an asshole. Wouldn't roll his window down and was being very disrespectful until the officer said, okay, you don't want to cooperate with me? You don't cooperate with me, I'm going to take your ass out of this car. And this is what happened to Tyreek Hill, and he got pulled out that car. Why? Because he was being disrespectful, and he was being arrogant, and he was upholding this officer from doing his job. So who's to blame here? The officer or Mr. Hill? Let's get back into the video.
We're not playing this game. Get out.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Damn.
You see how his energy changed once he started getting pulled up out that car, though.
Hey, bro, I'm getting arrested, dude. I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested, bro. I'm getting out.
Now,
When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand? You understand? Not what you want.
the part of him getting pulled out the car was a little bit excessive. But you got to understand the situation. If a police officer is pulling you over and you're not following his commands, first thing that I'm thinking that if I'm a police officer and somebody rolls a window up and the window is tinted, I don't know what this man is doing. He don't even know who he doesn't even know who Tyreek Hill is. He has no clue. So the first thing that he's thinking is that his life is in danger. So, of course, they was going to pull him out the car, subdue him, because he was posing himself as a aggressive threat.
We tell you, you're a little fucking confused.
I'm getting out, bro.
Too late. Too late.
All right, bro, take me to jail, bro. Do what you gotta do, bro.
We are. We will.
Good, bro.
It is good.
Hey.
Don't worry about it. When I hang up the phone.
And see, he still has this arrogant attitude. Oh, just taking you to jail, bro. Just do what you gotta do, bro. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? In all, he hurt those police officers' ego. So they wanted to show him that their ego was bigger than his ego. And at this time, they still didn't know who he was. They still didn't know that he was an NFL superstar wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. They don't know none of this. They just like, okay, you getting smart with us? Boy, we finna put you in line, boy. So we finna let you know, boy, we in charge of this situation, boy. And we finna put you in your place, boy. And that's exactly what happened to Tyreek Hill. He can't blame nobody but himself, homie. He put himself in this situation. Everything could have been avoided if he just cooperated, gave the man his license and insurance, kept his mouth shut, kept his window down, gave the officer his credentials. He could have got his ticket and he could have went on his way. It was his fault that he made this a spectacle. Let's carry on with the video. Now he's sitting up here trying to act like he didn't do nothing wrong. And the person in the vehicle that he was talking to was one of his teammates. But when they put them handcuffs on his ass, his whole attitude and his whole demeanor basically changed. Because now reality was starting to set in, that he knew that he messed up. He knew that he caused the proper, no, where he messed up at was he knew that he fucked up. Let's just put it plain and simple. He knew right then and there he fucked up. And it started to set in that there is a possibility now that you finna take your butt to jail for escalating a situation that could have been de-escalated from the get-go. Let's carry on.
I just had surgery on my knee. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery in your ears when we told you what you chill, bro. Chill, bro. Hey, Joe New, bro. Hey, come on. Back off.
Back off. Back off right now. Back off. Back off right now. Get back. Get back. I'm telling you, go back. I don't have to talk to you. Go back. Go back. Go back. Wait. Pass a card. Pass a card. You want to be handcuffed too? All right, then back off. We're not playing this game here, man.
Let me pause it for a minute. Now, this guy right here is Tyreek Hill's teammate. I don't know his name. I don't know too many football players' names on the Miami Dolphins team. But this guy basically walked in this situation like a deer in headlights. What he should have did was he should have just stepped back a certain amount of feet, and he could have easily asked the officer what was going on. But when you're a big black man like that and an officer that small sees you walking up on him like that, he is automatically going to feel that you are a threat. That's just how they are. That's just how they feel. That's just how they act. That's just what they do. Even though the brother did have his hands up. What happened was the brother was basically interfering with the investigation of what the officers were doing as their duty. They were basically doing their job, and they didn't need no more confusion. They didn't need nobody else hindering their investigation and the job that they were doing. Let's carry on with the video.
It's not your business. It's not your business.
He's lucky that officer didn't pull the pistol out on him. So he's giving them instructions over and over and over and over again, and it seems like his teammate is not really cooperating.
You gotta go before you get a ticket. Who's the driver? This is my car. All right, move. You gotta move right now. Let me have your license. You get a ticket too. Let me have your license. You get a ticket. Let me have your license.
He's giving verbal commands, and nobody's following their verbal commands.
You're not gonna give me your
They're
license.
taking their time.
You're not gonna give me your license. Let me have your license. Your license right now. Hey, your license right now. Or I'm gonna lock you up. Your license right now. Your license right now. You're dealing with me now. Your license right now.
All right, let me pause it. Okay. The officer asked this man several times to kick rocks. He wanted to sit up there and argue with this man after this man told him more than 3 times to just get in his car, get on and go on about his business. But no, he wanted to sit there and prolong the situation, take his time. So by that time, the officer asked him for his identification, which if the player that he was getting on knew his rights, he should have told the officer, did I commit a crime? Was there a crime committed? No, I don't have to identify myself. I don't know if that law applies in Florida or not, but I'm sure majority of the places in the United States of America, if you're not committing a crime, you do not have to identify yourself. But by this time, the officers were just being assholes at this point in time and being very rude and being very aggressive in this situation. Let's carry on.
Hey, your license right now. Or I'm gonna lock you up. Your license right now. You just told me your license right now. We're not playing this game here, man. Your license right now.
Yeah, this cop is ego tripping.
All right, go
He's
get your
ego
license.
tripping.
Close that door.
Oh, boy got his phone out. He recording. I ain't mad at him. Documented. So he gave him his license. Now I guess he's gonna go back and run this guy's name. And you still got Tyreek sitting on the ground bitching like a little bitch after he started all of this confusion.
Hey, 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 I'm gonna get, hey. That, hey.
He's still up there trying to explain himself.
Huh? No? Oh, yeah?
Now the officer's explaining it to him. Now the other officer, he knows who he is. First thing he said was, hey, why you got him on the ground like that? Do you know who he is? That other officer, he didn't know who he was. By this time, he power tripping, he ego tripping. So now they know they done fucked up. They know they done made a big mistake now. Even though Tyreek Hill was wrong, they know that this situation here is fin to go viral. So let's finish watching the video.
Hey, that's where to start. I'm gonna win the Super Bowl, right? Hey, come on, come on, come on.
Twin.
Hey, I'm not gonna tell you to leave. I'm gonna give you one.
See, look, they ego tripping, homie. They ego tripping.
Get in your car and leave.
Listen,
Avoid this. Get in your car and leave.
I'm giving you an order. One more time.
Get in your car and leave.
One more time. I'm giving you an order to get out of here.
That's what they do, homie. That's what they do.
I told you, leave.
Look, they ego tripping now. Now they really ego tripping. But at the same time, when they gave this guy the order the first time to leave, he should have left. But at the same time, I can understand that he was being real concerned for his teammate, which rightfully so he had a right to. Because a lot of people don't trust the police. Because anything can pop off. So it's always good to have eyes on police when they do shit like this. Straight up.
Yeah, careless because he was speeding too fast.
Crazy. Insane. All right, so that's pretty much all that I have on the body cam. So let me give you my dialogue on the situation. as an indigenous aboriginal black man in America, which is a country that they basically stole from our ancestors, but they will never admit that. But that's another topic for another day. This situation was basically based on ego. That's all it was. You got a spoiled, rich athlete that plays for a professional football team with a cocky, arrogant, fucked up attitude. Because if you have to look at it in the beginning, the officer that pulled him over was trying to be cool with him in the beginning. When Tyreek Hill gave off of that negative energy, that officer fed off of that negative, aggressive energy that he was getting from Tyreek Hill. So when the officer knocked on the window, again, Tyreek Hill didn't want to roll his window down. Tyreek Hill did not want to cooperate. So things got escalated off of ego. So these officers doing their job, though, they wanted to show Mr. Hill who was in charge and who was the boss. This video should be a learning lesson for millions and millions of black people to understand and even understand. When you are dealing with the law, it is your job as a civilian to comply. You don't have to get an attitude with these people. You don't have to get aggressive with these people. You do not have to talk crazy to these people. This is what the court system is for. You pull out your phone, you record the situation, and you document the situation, and you shut the fuck up. Point blank range. Okay? Now, had Tyreek Hill cooperated, he wouldn't have never been in this situation. Had he gave this officer his license, his registration, and his insurance, the officer would have been more than happy to take it, and he probably would have just took it back to his car, ran his name, and his name would have came up of who he was, what he does, and how he's living his life. Now, the officer would have had two choices had Tyreek Hill not escalate the situation. The officer probably would have been cool and could have been like, okay, Mr. Hill, you were speeding, but this time I'm going to give you a warning. And he could have gave him back his credentials, and he could have rolled his window up, and he could have went on to the stadium, to the game. Or the officer could have just simply just gave him his ticket, and he would have been on his way also. Even though the officers were arrogant and they were being assholes, in the end, it all could have been prevented if cool heads would have prevailed in the first place. See, in situations like this, we cannot make this race. We cannot make this a racial issue, because it was not a racial issue. It was not nothing based on racism or discrimination, because Tyreek Hill was in a nice car and he was black. That had absolutely nothing to do with the situation. Tyreek Hill was speeding. Tyreek Hill got pulled over. Officer was trying to be cool with this dude. He knocked on the window. Tyreek Hill started being disrespectful to this man, disrespecting this man like he was a nobody, like he was nothing. and the situation escalated for no apparent reason. So, to be honest, I'm going to keep it 100. He got exactly what he deserved. Straight up. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. And people can come at me any way they want to. Life is life, homie. When you wrong, you wrong. When you wrong, you just wrong. And homie was wrong. Homie was dead wrong. He was dead, flat out wrong for the whole situation, his actions, his demeanor, his fucked up attitude. Everything was wrong about what homie did. Now, like he said at the press conference, what if he wasn't Tyreek Hill? Yeah, what if he wasn't? Ain't no telling what would have happened. Ain't no telling what would have happened. But at the same time, you got to really understand this too, though. When the officer first pulled him over, he didn't know who he was. He just blurted him. He didn't get a chance to run his plates when he pulled him over. He couldn't tell who he was when he asked him to roll down his window. He couldn't get a real good visual of who he was pulling over. These officers, good or bad, they still have a right to protect themselves. They still have a job to do. Whether they're right or wrong, good or bad, they still have a job to do. And this dude just didn't make the job easy for him. So these are the consequences that he had to deal with and he had to pay. So I hope in the future, Mr. Hill learns a valuable lesson from this situation. Instead of having a press conference acting like he was the victim, when all in all he was the aggressor. So all of this falls on him, and it's his fault. And anybody that feels sorry for this fool, they just as dumb as he is. This is your host with the most, Big Bang, and I'm out of here. Peace.